You hear that? That was thunder. Hey guys, how are you? David and Franco here from ddfranco.com/ask. Boom! Yep, there it is. Visual proof. That is your open forum for submitting questions for future videos such as this one. Don't point, it's rude. And today's question... Hold on, first of all, my face is being illuminated. Let me turn the brightness down. There you go. Today's question comes from Michael Petrucci. Hopefully I'm saying your name right. Now, Michael did not include any social links or website links or anything like that. But Michael, if you're watching this video and you want links included, let me know and I'll put them right below. Alright, so Michael says, "Hey David, I was talking with my brother and he was saying Samsung will run Apple out of work. Samsung has been making more products and Apple was thinking of cutting the iPhone 5S. What? And I don't believe him. You shouldn't believe him. Just wanted to know if you could help us figure it out. Thanks a lot, Michael." Alright, Michael, let me tackle this in parts because you asked multiple things. Number one, let me just say this real quick. Apple is not cutting the iPhone 5S. Why would they? Your brother is obviously lacking the knowledge required to even give tech advice in the first place. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to sound like a jerk, but it's the damn truth. Why the hell would Apple cancel an iPhone 5S, especially at a time like this when we have competition left and right from Samsung? I know, you just happened to ask about Samsung. But it's the truth. Samsung is Apple's biggest competitor nowadays, besides Google, primarily in the OS, obviously. But I'm talking about manufacturers of phones and whatever. It's just, trust me, the iPhone 5S will be out this fall. I can bet my life on it. As well as maybe the iPhone 5C, which I gotta say, I like that name a lot. It makes sense. iPhone 5C meaning cheap? No, I don't think Apple would use the name cheap. I think the C comes from the C in plastic. Maybe. We'll just have to wait and see. So many C's. But anyway, getting back directly on topic, now let me talk about the part where you say, well, your brother says, Samsung will run Apple out of work. No. No. And no. And then Michael's brother goes on to say, Samsung has been making more products. Alright guys, let me make something very, very clear here. More is not always better. For instance, the saying, how does it go? Quality over quantity. And that's the truth, especially in this case. I'm always seeing people say, why doesn't Apple roll out an iPhone twice or 3 times a year? There's a new Samsung Galaxy here and there. There's a new phone from Moto, the Moto X coming out soon, which that's not out yet, so that doesn't really apply. But you get what I'm saying. Samsung has so many freaking devices of different sizes and different configurations. It's just ridiculous. Okay, so I'm not saying that's a bad thing for everyone, but for me personally, I like knowing when I get my iPhone, that is the newest phone I'll have for at least a year or next 2 years. And I say next 2 years because you can upgrade early by, paying the full amount or maybe an early upgrade fee depending on your contract. But still, I have an iPhone 4S, and now am I dying for the iPhone 5S? At this point, yes. Now, did I have the option of buying the iPhone 5? Yes, certainly, but me being cheap at certain points in my life, I simply didn't want to spend the extra money if I didn't have to. So what am I getting at here? Well, we do have the option of upgrading from iPhone to iPhone once every year. And honestly, in my opinion, I think that's how it should be. I don't want to have to worry about my Android phone being out of date literally next week. Yes, next week. I'm sure there's some kind of new Android device coming out. And that's what bothers me so much about the competition from Google to Apple in terms of OS, Android versus iOS, is there's so many devices out there, which leads to so much freaking fragmentation. I cannot stand fragmentation. It annoys the hell out of me. Maybe it's just me. I'm just very picky. I like a good experience. I like a good, decent user experience. I don't want to have to worry about my device being out of date, like I said, next week. Now, I know I'm going to get some hate for saying that, but guys, I don't make these devices. It's not my fault there's a new Samsung device every week or two, that there's a new Android device next week, that there's so many freaking different sizes from Galaxy, the Galaxy Note and the Samsung Galaxy. Yes, I realize the S3 and S4 are pretty much standard nowadays. That's the Samsung device people go to. But still, from what I've seen, people aren't overall that happy with the Samsung Galaxy S4, at least coming from the S3. Because honestly, the S4 has a lot of gimmicky features. Who wants to look away from your phone while watching a YouTube video to have your phone pause? And I know that's optional, but that's the difference between Samsung and Apple. Apple actually puts in features that people will use. They will never, ever, ever think about implementing a feature where you're watching a YouTube video and you look away and the device pauses for you. Who the hell wants that? I know I don't. And then, of course, there's a whole hand gestures thing, waving over your device to go through pictures. What? Just stop, Samsung. Please, stop with the gimmicky crap. But you know what? At the end of the day, it all comes down to competition, and Apple is very lucky that Samsung exists. Now, I'm not passionate for Samsung. I mean, I do have a Samsung TV, and I love Samsung monitors / displays overall. I think they're great, and I'm sure one of my devices here has a Samsung display. I think my Apple display has a Samsung panel. I'm not totally sure, but you get the point. Samsung is not a bad company. I don't completely agree with their tactics and their presentation style, especially the Samsung Galaxy S4 and that cheesy as hell Broadway presentation. That was just bad. That was one of the worst presentations I've seen in my life. I mean, it was horrible. But like I said, competition is a very good thing. Love or hate Samsung, we're lucky to have them around. Love or hate Apple, we're also lucky to have them around. As long as these two companies keep fighting each other, as well as other companies, then we'll continue to get good and hopefully innovative products. Alright, so just to set a disclaimer, I don't want people running away from this video saying, David hates Samsung, David hates competition. That could not be further from the truth, because sometimes people twist my words. So I just want to be very clear right now. So thank you for the question, Michael. Hopefully I answered it the best way possible. And also, let me just say this one more time. Don't trust your brother for tech advice. He obviously has no clue what he's talking about. Again, I'm not trying to sound like a jerk. I'm just saying how it is. He obviously needs to educate himself. And now, since today is a Q&A video, that means you guys do get another free audiobook. And today's free audiobook is this good old Steve, the Steve Jobs biography by Walter Isaacson. Now, believe it or not, I still have viewers who have not downloaded this for completely free. And honestly, it blows my mind that people are turning up this free offer, because it normally sells for $34.99. $35 value, guys, you can have for completely free. Simply use the link below, audibletrial.com/thecreativeone. Click that, sign up, and simply search for Steve Jobs, and the audiobook is yours to keep forever. And of course, as always, huge thanks to Audible for making this promotion possible. I hope you guys appreciate it as much as I do. And now with that, I am out. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your continued support. It really does mean the world to me, guys. And I finally reached 80,000 subscribers. That's amazing. So, from me to you, namaste. And also, I'll see you in tomorrow's video, which should be Seaside Heights with the mildly famous David Banther. Should be fun times. Peace.